Hey, what's going on everyone? It's your boy E.N.D. I'm back for another video and welcome to my new defense guide. I'm gonna break down and give you guys a full analysis of how I made my fortress, the ins and outs. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and let's get started. So this took me about 3 to 4 days to test this specific base until I was really happy with it. I had to test different shinobi, different trap placement installations until I got what I wanted. It took me about a week to test the overall ideas that I had, and it paid off really well as I got 9 out of 10 wins right now. So I'm happy to share that with you guys, and I'll explain obviously in detail each room and why I have it set up the way I do. And please keep in mind that these are not just the shinobi that I want to use, it's the shinobi that's available to me, so we need to make the most out of what we have. Okay, so towards the first room, which is probably one of the most important rooms that set up the tone for the rest of the enemy's attack, is the separation room. So the separation room is made to separate either the main or the support, number one, and number two, split up the enemy's forces, right? When your enemy is together with the support, the attack is multiplied. It's easier to kill an enemy shinobi, so you want to split them up. And number three, it's to allow your shinobi to wake up first. So if you send an enemy shinobi flying into your shinobi's room near them, they will wake up first, making it much harder for your enemy to get a surprise attack in, and that sets up a really good tone for you. So in my opinion, this is one of the best ways to set up a really good separation room. It's really hard to counter with 2 water trap installations, and also a air trap at the beginning, just in case an enemy clicks too fast or misclicks and they dash forward. That immediately sends them flying, and obviously having 2 water traps makes it very hard to counter. So in my middle room, I have my revive pad summoning, and I have Kawaki in there. And I know everyone's immediate thought process is, I don't want my revive pad shinobi in the middle, I want them in the room before final, because it's hard for enemy to ignore that. But the shinobi and the meta have changed. We have multiple shinobi who can revive cancel, which makes this trap a normal trap in most cases. And in my opinion, if you have this summoning in the room before final, it's very easy to counter with a precast attack, because the rooms before that, it's very hard to set up a air trap room, meaning you can't send shinobi flying in, allowing your shinobi to wake up first and cause an issue for your enemy. Whereas having him in the middle room and in a room before a separation room, it increases my chances of sending the main or his or her support in this room, allowing my shinobi to wake up first and cause issues, rather than having him in the room before final and letting him be a victim and just waiting for an attack, if that makes sense. And then in terms of placement, we don't want him too close to the entrance, because it's easy to set off traps and then instantly spawn him and then kill him. So we want him further away. We also want to increase the chances of the enemy stepping on air traps and making it a bit more difficult for him, which is why he's further away. And then we have a 3-star mirror there, just in case he does set off traps, but then the mirror will activate and block off his vision, which makes it really hard to judge and see how far Kawaki is, to see whether his HP is lower, that's going to make him ult, etc. And we have a barricade in the middle to prevent and stop a precast attack, and then letting them step on the air trap. So this is mainly a trap and stall room. It's great for trapping support units, they won't be able to go anywhere without destroying that summoning over there, and without the main to guide them to that direction, they are basically trapped. And we have 2 3-star air traps just to disrupt the combo. If the main player is there and he rushes in, sets of traps, either gets blown away, disrupts the team. And now we have overall time, kill, distraction room. So I have the red trap dragon installation room on the far left. That's to draw in enemies, so if they land near that installation, they will, instead of locking the target onto me, they will lock onto target on that and then end up attacking that and then awakening me, my shinobi, allowing them to use jutsu. And then I also have air traps near the places where I think they will step, which obviously makes things complicated for them. In the entrance, I have my 2 airpods, which is protected by the red dragon, so that can only be destroyed via punches, etc., not jutsu. But then also, if you enter from the other side and you want to precast an attack, you will lock onto target on the 2 airpods instead of having a direct pathway to me, which ends up helping my shinobi and helps them wake up first. And then I have a barricade in the middle, just in case they end up having a direct pathway to my shinobi, but then the barricade will stop them midway and then they will end up stepping on the air trap, disrupting the combo, etc. In terms of having Edo Minato here, if you can't max him or build him with really good evasion, etc., I would rather have him a shinobi here who can kill not only with the EX but also the ninjutsu. And I decided to put another summon trap over here because I don't want too much movement in my base. I want them to be busy, I want them to be occupied, I want to increase my chances of either wasting the time or killing them, and that's by stopping traffic, if that makes sense. I have my dragon installation right here to draw in enemies and to protect my 1 air part in the entrance. And then that obviously draws enemies in from either side to not only focus the attack on me but on that, and then they can maybe rush in and step on the air trap. And then I also have my 3-star murder there, so in case they set up traps, the murder will activate and they will lose sight of my Minato, thus make a bit more complicated. So in this room, I would like a shinobi who can either teleport or insta-cast a jutsu like Power to Karma, like Minato or Wandering Sasuke, etc. So I'm very happy with this room's design. It's basically meant to kill, confuse, trap enemies, just disrupt the normal combo footwork. Basically, I have my red dragon there that protects my airport at the entrance, and then also in case the enemies land by the red dragon, instead of locking onto target onto me, they will lock onto that and obviously allow my shinobi to wake up first and begin their attack, etc. Then I also have my airport in the entrance, so if they precast, they will attack that and they will stop directly where my air trap in the beginning is, and then hopefully send them flying. I also have air traps in the vital spots where I think they will step on and then send them flying. And okay, so this is the new water trap summoning, which is really good. It basically allows you to add a additional summoning to your base, overall wasting more of your enemy's time and creates a potential win. But basically you can't add any traps in here and you can't send any shinobi flying into here. It does not allow that. They have to enter directly. So because you cannot send a shinobi flying into here and you cannot set up traps, in my opinion, it's best to put a shinobi here who can insta-cast the jutsu. So what does that mean? There are specific shinobi that as soon as they wake up or as soon as they are free to do so, they will spam a specific move. So in this case with Tobirama, as soon as he awakes, he will spam his 4-star tornado, which is what I want, and then keeps him in action rather than having a shinobi spawn, which is wake up and then just stand there waiting for opportunity. So in terms of traps, this is probably the best room, well, one of the best rooms, because this is made specifically to counter precast attacks like Kawaki, for instance. When you are making bases, you also need to put yourself in the mind of an attacker, so you can deal with certain things better. So for me, when I attack with Kawaki, as I said, this room is very easy to precast and attack with. So I set up a barricade at the start of the entrance to stop a precast attack, and then that will make them step on the air trap or stop midway on the air trap. And if they set off traps, a magnet will pull them in, make them fly if they step on the air trap. And then I have my 3-star mirror there, so if they also set off air traps, that blocks their vision and they can't see whether my Momo took damage or ult or do whatever. So yeah, it just makes things a bit more complicated. And then I also have my air traps in vital spots where they might hide or land on, and yeah, that can disrupt the combo. And if they enter from the other room, that will also block their vision with that mirror and a bear trap to make them to basically trap them. And also in this room, I would prefer to have a shinobi like Ido Itachi, who can tank damage wall, who has evasion, who has a really good iframe in Susan O, and can basically revive every time he uses his EX, which is another type of revive pad, if you would think of it like that. This room is meant to store enemies or make them a bit angry, but also to deal with teleport shinobi. If you step on this black hole, that will send them to the beginning of the room. The summoning in the far left will create a barrier so they can't escape. And I have this installation right here which negates all stats. So for example, if I'm using Wandering Sasuke and I have my evasion on, my LB effects, my limit break effects, if I teleport over here, that will negate everything, and it have to use another EX to keep my evasion up, to keep my effects up, so it can be a really big nuisance. So far, this is the final room that I've been using, and it's obviously set up in a specific way. I've tried Boruto with all combos with Oni heal, and right now I prefer having Oni heal because I think it's a waste that whenever I have all his jutsu on or I don't have him in, then I either get an Obito or someone with a precast ultimate that attacks me and blows away my whole final gate by just one move, which I think is stupid. And then also I have all the needed resistances, so he can 100% spam his invincibility, which I need, and you'll see why further on. So next we have Mr. Shadow, who can tank damage really well, both with higher HP and overall stats. And I also have only 2 jutsus because I have his LB at +2, so his jutsu cooldown is lower. He has really good invincibility, even though it's delayed. With 2 jutsus, he can spam it more frequently. And his LB has a large radius, invincibility strip, etc. And yeah, he's an overall tank with also stealing CP. Now for Sakura Mom, I don't have an EX but a heal, and LB is really important. Her heal provides 5 seconds invincibility, which is really good because a lot of shinobi can strip invincibility and evasion. And right now I have a bolt with HP and defense, and you'll see why I said that. As you can see, I have her with high HP and defense, but I don't have resistances on her, but that's because I have Boruto's only heal, so without a doubt that will allow her to use a status immunity first and protect her, but also having overall high stats like defense and HP will allow her to tank more damage to stay alive as long as possible, and that's what I want. Obviously, if I did not have Boruto only heal, then I would make her have resistances, of course. And then lastly, we have Mr. Baryon mode, which right now he's both with overall stats and not 40% evasion, which I did have, but I only personally think that's of use when you're either using him for outfield or main like GGW. But besides that, I think he needs overall stats more, with obviously a decent amount of evasion. But I think he needs to be able to tank at least 1 to 2 hits, especially with shinobi like Wandering Sasuke and Obito, who deal multiple hit dot damage, or not just dot damage but multiple hits. He needs to be able to tank at least 1 or 2. That obviously also helps him ult and just stay alive, you know. So that's really good. In terms of who to bond with and who to follow up for, that's for another video. But for this case and for now, I have him with Obito Rage, who provides CP drain and has a larger radius in his follow-up.